Hey, we're back with what I wish I would have known starting out with Lularoe. I'm going to tell you all my mistakes, so hopefully if you're planning on joining this company, you can not make the same mistakes and you can do better. Talk about why I might leave the company, I might stay. I haven't decided yet, I'm really on the fence. I'm doing a ton of research, and while I'm doing it, I wanted to drag you along with me and share what I've learned, because maybe it'll help someone else. I started selling Lularoe August of 2016. Everything I heard was the more you buy, the more you sell. Lularoe sells itself. You just have to put it out in front of people. And so I was really stoked and really excited. I went to Inspire training in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I was pumped up by Deanne. She's such an awesome person, and she really is. I fell in love with the idea of the company. I didn't fall in love with the clothes. I had a Randy shirt when I got into the queue, and it was cute. You know, I was okay with it. But I really fell in love with the opportunity and the company and the idea and the thought that every consultant doesn't have the same inventory. I thought that was brilliant. That's the reason why I never signed up with Mary Kay or Avon or anyone else, because everyone you went to had the exact same thing. You could buy it from whoever. It was the same. So I thought Lularoe was smart because everyone had different stuff. And I thought, brilliant. So brilliant. Sign me up. I think that's exactly what I want to do. Now granted, I had other businesses. I'm also a professional cake decorator. I also have a digital scrapbooking business, and they were doing okay. I just was hoping for something that would help me succeed more. I wanted to be a bigger part of bringing income into our family. We've got 5 kids. My husband has an awesome job, but I still have always wanted to be a participant in working, and I love working. I do. I love working. I'm a workhorse. My husband always says, on my spare time, all you do is you go and work. And it's true. That's what I like to do. I signed up with Lularoe, and I was only hearing good things. I researched about it. I only heard good things, and people were making $10,000 their first week of selling, and it was easy. They'd say it was work. You know, it was work. You gotta take pictures of the clothing, and you have to ship it, and you have to invoice it, and you have to take it to these pop-ups, and it's hard work. But I'm not afraid of work. Like, bring on the work. I was totally fine with that. I was just really in love with the idea of making a full income, being able to do this with my kids. You know, yes, I'll work. Heck yeah, I'll work, but I want to be paid for it too. So I fell in love with the idea. Signed up, jumped on. I was really excited. I started my group, and everyone said, leggings loops were huge at the time. There was legging loops going on everywhere, and so I thought, okay, I'll do a few leggings loops, and so I did a couple, and got a couple hundred people that joined my group on top of the people who I had already talked to and invited in. But people also said, grow your group organically, whatever, and make sure that it's not just people who don't want to buy things, and that they're there for the right reasons. And so I was listening to them, but I also thought, well, I'd like to find a way to invite people to purchase things from me that have never heard of me. And so I did a few leggings loops, so anyway, I was at about 100 or 600 people or something when I got my initial inventory. Then I started buying orders over and over and over like crazy. And there's a couple reasons why I was doing that. One reason was because it was taking like 3 weeks to get a package from Lularoe. It was taking 3 weeks to get your box. And I knew that if I was going to sell this stuff like hotcakes, like everybody was saying, then I need to keep refreshing my inventory. So even though I wasn't selling anything yet, I was ordering. I got my initial a couple days later. I just ordered my initial. A couple days later, I ordered another box. A couple days later, I ordered another box. And I hadn't even gotten my initial inventory yet in my house. So I was buying and buying and buying, just anticipating all these sales. And I also wanted to grow the amount of inventory I had really, really quickly. I bought way too much, way too fast, and it was a terrible idea, and don't do that. I don't care if the shipping is behind. Just don't. I don't know. It was bad. So I had way too much inventory for the size of group that I had. And right now I only have about 800, 900 people in my group, which is great. I love a small group. I love to give them personal attention. Numbers is not everything. And I love my friends and I love my shoppers. But the problem is I had too much inventory for them. They did not need 800 pieces of clothing in my store, and I could not afford to have 800 pieces of clothing at that minute. I didn't have 800 right away. I started out with like 300, 400, but I was quickly purchasing more. And if you look in my other group, or my other video that I just did, you can see my numbers and how much I purchased and how much I sold each month for the last 6 months. So anyway, don't do that. So only buy what you sell. Start out with the small kit and just buy what you sell, in my opinion. And that's how you create, demand a little bit in your group. The other crappy thing was I'd get a box, half of it was missing or half of it was back orders, and it was so frustrating because I'd want to, get the tall curvy leggings for my customers and they didn't have any, or the Sarahs or whatever, and it was all back ordered and it was so frustrating. There was also like a TC drought a couple times. Tall curvy leggings, they didn't anticipate the huge demand, and then I think they also had some quality issues that was causing a huge tall curvy drought, and people were going crazy and consultants were angry and customers were frustrated. And then that's on top of the quality control that was going on. I got a shipment once and I swear like half of the stuff was crap. I'm sorry. I was so upset. I got a couple Randys that one sleeve was like 4 inches long than the other one, and a Sarah had the seam that was like sewn really crazy. Like it had like a bunch of fabric that was bunched up like this. And I understand that things happen, and I understand that with clothing you're gonna get mess ups and things are gonna happen. But at that moment I had a box that I was like, half of this is ruined. Like it just made me so frustrated. And then the same month, this was like in November and December and a little bit of October, I was getting daily people messaging me about leggings that they had holes and they stunk weird. We had a time where they were smelling bad. Like, what's up with, like, it smelled like death. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It was so disgusting. And so we had a smelling issue then with the leggings, and then we had holes in them, and there was pinholes, and there was rips where they were going across their bum. And like, I'm so glad that hasn't personally ever happened to me, and I am so sorry if that has ever happened to anyone else, because I can't even imagine being out in public and having my arse hanging out like that. Oh my gosh. I understand that leggings are like a glorified like pantyhose kind of, so I know they're thin and they can rip and tear and stuff, but it was happening way too much. Like daily. I was having to turn in tall curvy and one size leggings daily. It was really frustrating. So, granted, again, I love Tiana and Mark. I think they're fantastic. I think they're a fantastic company. These problems should not reflect solely on the company, because the company's done amazing things for people. I still love the company. I'm still not wanting to give this up yet, but I just am telling you about my struggles. Okay. The other issue is Lularoe, they say, is not oversaturated. That's really to be fought with. Okay, you can say it's not saturated, you can say it is, you can say compared to other, multi-level companies, whatever. I'm not going to try to convince you that it's not or that it is. But for me, I've got about 10 ladies within like a 3-mile radius that sell Lularoe, which means that I can't get into any vendor events unless I know someone or I'm the one that's like doing it. And the big events, like the really big vendor events, I can't get into, because the people who've been doing it for at least a year or two are the ones that are going to be there and the ones that are going to be selling it. So for me, it's oversaturated to me. Oh, and the other issue is, I had like 4 or 5 really, really good customers, and they all became consultants, which is awesome. like totally awesome. I'm really excited for them. I hope that they just succeed and take off and do so awesome. But the fact is that I lost 5 customers that were really, good customers. And yeah, I can probably get 5 more back, but I just keep seeing more and more people signing on, and it's harder to collect more people, I guess. So to me, it's oversaturated. Okay, that's my 2 cents. Okay, there's also huge competition in the buy-sell trade groups. I mean, it is insane. And they say Lularoe came out with a thing that said we are not supposed to post in buy-sell trade groups as consultants. Whatever, it's up to you. I'm not going to turn you in. I don't really care. But if someone posts something like, "Hey, I'm looking for small Sarahs," within 2 minutes there is 500 posts and like people posting Sarahs, and it is crazy how competitive it is on those sites. I mean, really, the only way you're going to do this is to work your butt off and to go locally in your own area and do pop-ups and find people one by one and build your group. And if you're willing to do that, I'm sure you'll do absolutely great. And policies keep changing. They keep updating their policies, which is good. It's a growing company. They've got to grow and change things and make things better for the consultants, which is great, but sometimes it's really frustrating. Like when they came out with a policy that said you can't have any other name except Lularoe, first name, last name. That's it. You can't name your groups anything else. You can't. That has to be what your name is. And a lot of groups have like more than 5,000 people in their groups, and they're saying, well, I can't change my name now. Facebook will not let me change my name. So what am I going to do about that? And there was this big uppity about it, and everyone was kind of freaking out. So it's kind of frustrating when things like that happen, when they change things on us, but I was okay. I had Lularoe, first name, last name as mine. So, and then when I first signed on, they always said, well, you can just sell back your stuff for a 15% loss if you want to, just sell it back. Well, they just pulled that policy. So whatever $30,000 that I just spent on inventory, I don't have all that, but I can't sell it back. It's now up to me to figure out a way to sell it. And since I can't go on buy sell trade sites, and I have to figure out a way to sell it just to the people I know and just in my group. And sometimes that's kind of hard, because every single person that I talk to, and every single person in my group, and every single person in the multis that I do may not want a flying pig on their leggings. So I gotta find the right person to sell it to, but sometimes they make it really difficult to do that. Groups were being shut down when they weren't complying and stuff, and that was kind of freaking people out. Then Facebook was also shutting down, and they do Facebook jail, where if you're posting things too quickly or not complying, then they'll put you in Facebook jail. Everybody knows about that, but it's frustrating. That's why wonderful people came out with things like Shop the Row and Row with Me and ways to make it easier on us. Okay, so photographing the inventory, I want to tell you how long that takes. It takes a long time. If I get a box of 33 pieces, it takes me a day to photograph those items. I can't have a place in my house where I have everything set up, so I have to set up my backdrop. I have to set up my mannequin. I have to pull out all the clothing out of the bags. I have to put them on the mannequin. I have to take the photos. I have to put them in my picture thing to put them all together with my name and my collage. And I have to upload them, and I have to count all the inventory. It takes a long time, okay? So if I get one box, it takes me a day or 2 to get it done. And granted, I'm also doing this with kids around my house, so yeah, I have to help them out too. I can't just do what I'm doing, but I'm saying it takes like a day to get all that done. And sometimes you are ordering more than one box, and so it's crazy. There's Aubrey issues. It does not work all the time. They came out with a new one called Bless. Seems to be working a little bit better, but it still doesn't send emails to some people. It still does not make the credit cards go through. I still have issues. I still have to use PayPal every once in a while to get people to actually pay me, because it's just not a system. My neighbor's online website sometimes works better than Aubrey, or Bless or whatever, which is frustrating. And then the fact that just they don't have everything online, we have to figure out our own way to sell it online, like Facebook. And you know what? One day Facebook just may change their policies completely, and then all the people who sell on Facebook will just be like, just have to figure out a way to do it. Sales would, I don't know. It's a little bit frightening that things could just change. Lularoe does not have control over Facebook, and so if that's your only way of selling, you might want to think about other ways to sell too in case something like that happens. Lularoe is brilliant. They're brilliant in the fact that they send you a box. It's a surprise party every single time, yay, which is really kind of cool. It's like Christmas every single time you get it, okay? And you open up this box and you're hoping for like these amazing prints every single time, and these beautiful paisleys and dots and stripes and everything, and then you get a box of turds, okay? What are you gonna do? You gotta sell it, is what they always say. Just get out there and sell it. Well, guess what? I don't want to sell turds to people. Okay, this wasn't like a rant. I'm sorry. That is not my purpose. So, anyway, sometimes you get fugly prints and you have to figure out what to do with them, and sometimes you can do giveaways with them, or sometimes you can discount them, or sometimes random people will actually like them. But there are some things that I still have from my initial inventory 6 months later that I have taken to every pop-up, I have taken to every multi, I have sold online, I have Periscoped it, I have everything, and nobody wants it. So now I get to hold that inventory, and I've paid for it, and there's not much I'm doing with it, which is kind of a bummer. So I would think I would rather like to have control over my prints. I don't like not having that control, it was fun at first to get that surprise box and to not know what's in it. And I could sell like probably a quarter of it good and right away, and then 3/4 of it it'd take me a while. So anyway, so what I also did that was not good was I was introducing too many styles too quick. Like I said, I was trying to order inventory so quickly, and I threw out all these styles. I wanted everything all at once to offer to my group and to give them everything that I possibly could, and it was too much, way too quick. I tried to go deep at the same time I was introducing new, and it was too much, okay? I also did not pay myself off at first. If I redid this, that is the first thing I would do. I would not start the buy 30 after you sell 25 until after I have paid myself off. I would buy 25 after I sold 25 until I was paid off. That's how I would have done it if I had to do this again. I was having issues with not counting inventory too close enough. So I was overselling things, like double selling it to people, because this is my Lula closet, okay? When I first signed on, people would say, you can do this with a small space. You can do it with a closet. And people would post these pictures of their closets with their, initial in it, or all of their 1,200 pieces of clothing. And now that I actually have 800 pieces of clothing, I realized that they were totally BSing. Totally. Like, that does not fit in a pull-out closet. Like, doesn't work, okay? I have a tiny little walk-in closet. It barely fits 800 pieces. That is tight on tight. That is 3 different racks with shelving on both sides with everything in bins and hanging. I tried to do it the best way I possibly could with my shipping stuff all on top. And it is jam-packed in there. And so, not right now, because I've liquidated a ton of stuff. I only have about 300 items left. Yes, because we're moving. I forgot to say that. We're moving. I don't want to have to store all this, so I liquidated a whole bunch last month. I was losing some of my items in the tiny space that I had. I had it so jam-packed in there. I had so much stuff so quickly that I was overselling and double selling to people, and it was getting so frustrating to me. And I didn't want to have to count my inventory every single time I did a pop-up, or every single time. I don't know, it was just too much stuff for me, and I couldn't keep track of it all. And so, in too small of a space. I didn't have enough room, in my opinion. Did not have enough room. I think you should really do this, not like I chose to, not because of the opportunity and not because of the amount of money you can make. Do it because you love it. And only sell this company's clothing if you absolutely love the clothing. Because still at this time, I'll get boxes and boxes of clothing. I'm not in love with it. I'm not. So, how do you sell something that you don't love? So that's another part of my problem. So there's another company that I do. And once again, I'm thinking of switching to them. Also, a lot of consultants, they focus on building their team instead of selling the clothing. And that's great. That is going to make them money. It really is. But I didn't do that. I focused on selling the clothing. I'm sorry I loaded this onto you guys, but I really wish I would have known all this. Really. I wish somebody would have just told it to me straight. I watched the videos. I went through YouTube. I researched negative reviews for Lularoe. I tried to find something that would help me grasp onto the real crap. I wanted the real stuff, not the rainbows and unicorn poop. I wanted the real truth. And no one was giving it to me. And I just kept thinking, this is too good to be true, because I know how this works. I've run a couple businesses. I know that it's not going to be perfect unless you're one of the lottery winners who, rides off others. Then you made it. You did awesome. And a lot of people are not going to. And so you have to be willing to accept that. You have to be willing to be okay with that. And some people could say, well, then go out and do it, and go out and push that and sell it, and but I just wanted to tell it to you straight. So I wanted to give you my thoughts. And but the last thing I wanted to say, this is a really long video, I'm going to try to make it really shorter, but last thing I wanted to say is, if you research this company and you still are in love with the clothes, because they're fabulous clothes, they really are. I don't love all of them, but they're fabulous clothes. Patrick's brilliant. Deanna's an awesome businesswoman. Fabulous company to work with. Don't get me wrong, okay? And you will sell clothes and you will make money, and there's no doubt in my mind that that's not true. So you have to ask yourself, if I don't take this if I don't try, will I regret it forever? And that is exactly what I said to myself, and that's exactly the truth. If I hadn't tried this, I would have regretted it forever. And I also think that trying this taught me a whole bunch of things, so that if I do decide to leave and do something else that takes me somewhere else, then that's okay, because I've learned a ton from this, and I love Lularoe for it. And I love the bumps along the way, because it just makes me stronger. It makes me a better person. It teaches me patience and love and all that. And I've enjoyed the journey. Yeah, there's been struggles, but I've enjoyed it. So if you are wondering, and if you'll regret it if you don't, then do it. And it'll be okay. Okay, well, I'll be back with another video about the things I learned about different companies, and what the heck I'm gonna do, because I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna stay or if I'm gonna go. And I'll try to update you on what I decide when I decide it. Okay? All right, see you later.